relationships.
We can overthink it and still don't take the advice we even thought about. You know what I mean? Exactly. We can. We
That
can
part.
throw it all the way out. We know it ain't no good. And we still
Exactly. Exactly.
That's another episode.
All biased. Hey, I'm Michelle.
Hey, I'm Marsha.
And this is Candy Talk.
He would go. I guess I was too young to really understand a sweet talking, slick candy man.
Wow. Today, y'all remember Sour Patch Kids? Even though I don't like a lot of Sour Patch. But this topic today, you want one?
Yeah, huh?
This topic today is going to be, let me see. When you eat this, you know how all this around here starts to get wet and
It's getting wet already just thinking about it.
Yes. The topic today is going to be sweet
and sour.
Yes. Overthinking. How many of y'all overthink?
Me. Yes.
Me too. So when we think about overthinking, what comes to mind? What comes to your mind?
Just being repetitious over a thought, thinking and being stuck on one particular thought all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Repeatedly worrying about something.
Yeah.
All the time thinking about the same thing over and over and over. Wow. It's almost like when they say that, when you do something over and over and over, it's like insane, crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Overthinking is common. And many people experience it at some point in their lives. According to some studies, 73% of people aged 25 to 35.
Wow.
And 52% of people aged 45 to 55 overthink.
Wow.
Can you believe
52, over half of us overthink.
And it's amazing when you really think about it, right? When I was younger, I did think even more. Like I really overthink. When I really think about that, because I had marriage, I had children, I had 5 kids.
Yeah.
We had the mortgage. It seemed like I even thought about times where the bills used to come in the house and I used to hate going to the mailbox on it. You know what I mean? Because as soon as you see either a yellow envelope, you're like, oh my God, I ain't paid the electric bill.
Yeah.
Or, you see, if it ain't the electric bill, it's the cable bill.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And we think, just because you don't check it don't mean the bill's not going to be due.
Exactly.
You leave it in the mailbox like it's going to make it disappear or something.
It's almost like when you look at your phone. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you sit up there with someone calling, you're looking at the caller ID. Well, it's like going to the mailbox.
Yeah.
You looking at that mailbox and you just like, oh, I don't feel like going to it today.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because of so much, or the kids, you know what I mean? Dealing with school.
Yeah.
Dealing with their own, when you see them dealing with, problems in school, with other kids, or their trouble with their math or with their studies. You know what I mean?
Right.
That as a parent, it makes you overthink because you're wondering if you're doing the right thing. You're wondering if you're saying the right words. You're wondering if you're giving them the right time, Or
the right advice.
Exactly.
Too, And even looking at the 73% of the people 25 to 35, I can remember and relate to even at that time.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, especially if you had kids, even if you didn't have kids.
Exactly.
You have the college, some may be at college, some might be just getting out of college.
Exactly.
Overthinking of what should I do, what is next,
exactly.
Like that. So that plays a big part of who am I going to date. Kids or want to get married or not married or whatever at that time is pivotal in their lives between ages 25 and 35. We make a lot of our major decisions, life-altering decisions that we have to live with,
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Just thinking about when you were talking about the college students, right? I know with my daughters, when they was in college, being away from home, they called themselves sometimes overthinking. You know what I mean? Wondering if, like they said, sometimes in the beginning of college, it was like easy. It was almost like a breeze until things start getting hard. You know what I mean? They had those exams, and they had to stay up late, and they got friends that's partying, and they want to go party too, but they know they got to get this test done or they got to do something. You know what I mean? And they found themselves, being depressed.
Yeah.
Because of the overthinking. If I'm going to pass, if I don't pass, am I going to get the funding that I need? If my parents, what they're going to find when they find out that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So overthinking in that age group, like you said, that 25 to 35, it's a lot. Even younger, I can imagine the younger ones.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. They have to deal with that overthinking and stuff. And like you said, even going off to college, it's easy because that freshman year is something new.
Exactly.
To the kids, they want to get away from home.
Exactly.
So they want to go somewhere different. You know what I mean? So they're not really thinking too much until it's time for them books to come and them grades and stuff to come.
Exactly.
And that freshman year is very hard for young children and young people when they first start. Even older ones.
Exactly. When they starting over and everything, and their life is not where they want it to be.
And that's a lot of overthinking too, because that makes us think, oh, am I making the right decision? I should have started sooner. If I started before, but I had to wait till after the kids got older. And then, well, what if I do it like this? And, so that causes a lot of stress too.
Exactly.
When you have to break in and you come in a little later.
Exactly.
But that goes into what some of the causes, right?
Yes. Well, some of the causes they got here is mental health conditions. So, one of the things, a couple of them are anxiety, depression, panic disorders, PTSD, can all cause overthinking.
Well, what do you think about men and women? Who do you think overthinks the most, men or women?
Well, from what a study, when I was reading, I Googled, as you said, I Googled a study on the men and women, right, that overthink, and they said women are the most, the numbers is more higher concerning women.
Wow. We
are the ones that overthink the most. But they said the reason why with men, they don't talk about their stuff. They don't, they overthink too, but they don't talk about it. They don't voice it.
Yeah.
And they said too, they don't go and get help for some of the things that they do. That's why they said the suicide rate. I was like, wow, the suicide rate for men was higher than women.
Well, I can see that because we don't take much for us to talk about stuff. We find
Exactly.
we'll find anybody with a listening ear.
Exactly.
We're gonna get that out.
Exactly.
So for men, we find it even with my husband, even with my son, it's harder for them to open up. It takes a little longer for them to open up if they open up at all.
Exactly.
So,
the other causes which really, when I was reading, was really like exciting was professionalism. Right? Am I saying it right? Perfectionism. Yes. Where you're thinking that everything got to be just right. You know anything about that?
Yes, I know a lot about that.
Can you discuss a little bit?
And what perfectionism, what played a part for me is because I always had to, I wanted everything to be right in my eyes. So I always planned it, so it has to be this way. So then when you think, okay, if I do it this way, then this will happen and this will happen, right? But if I don't do it this way, this will happen and this will happen. And I find myself, so okay, if I do it this way, this happens. So after this, then I'm gonna have to do this. And I found myself stuck with that one idea, that one issue all day.
Wow.
Because I keep analyzing, and it goes further because Tony Robbins said, how you can be paralyzed by analyzing.
Yes,
I call it analyzing,
good.
But it really paralyzed me, and I found myself stuck in this one place. Contemplating over this one issue, trying to analyze. I call it analyzing, but it's still about perfectionism and overthinking, and that I had to kind of analyze from A to B, so I could feel comfortable. So it could be very paralyzing, and it can really take control, and it's draining. It's mentally draining, it's emotionally draining, and I can be sitting in one place and be exhausted because I didn't overthought this one thing all day.
Wow.
Even when you're moving and doing something, my mind was still on that one thing, still trying to figure out how I'm going to make this work. And if I have to have a plan B, and then the plan C, because the plan B don't work, then I have to have plan C, and then, okay, what if that don't work? And that, yeah.
Wow. It's nice to hear from someone that really dealt with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know one of the things that was a big one, and I had also posed a question about overthinking on Facebook. And a couple people really gave some good advice. And when I was looking at the research and I was looking at some things that we had drawn up, I was like, wow, it all fits. You know what I mean? And one of them was trauma. A lot of times, you know, overthinking, it was one person that talked about her childhood trauma, you know, and she addressed that, how she worried about what everybody thought about her, how what everybody felt about her. It dealt with her self-esteem. You know what I mean? And so she had to go to therapy for it because she was overly analyzing what everybody said. So if somebody said something about, you know, her hair, it made her like, you know, constantly got to do it. It kind of make sure it looks right and make sure it's intact. Or, you know, you like some people, they dyeing it all the time because, you know, they might not look right. It might not, you know, they just overly think it.
Said, oh, girl, that color don't look
exactly.
Or it could even be a look.
Exactly.
And then they're like, oh, well, what's wrong? What's wrong with what I have? What is something wrong with I? And then it's all, I can see how that can.
Exactly. And how it, and when one of the things when you think about childhood trauma, most of the time how your parents may have treated you, how your father may have treated you, how, you know, they may have comfort you or they didn't comfort you or made you feel good about it. So even if, you know, something did happen, let's say, you know, you had the bullying, like dealing with bullying, you know, where someone had in school talked about you fat or you know, or you too dark skinned or you too light skinned, you know what I mean? Or your eyes, you got one blue and one brown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They found a way to tease it. So as time went on, if they talked about it at home and they didn't have that parent that was comforting enough to say, no, baby, you beautiful.
Right.
No, baby, you look good. No, I don't care what anybody say about you. But if you didn't have that and you had parents that didn't, you know, comfort you in that area, then you found yourself overthinking that you're not good enough. You know what I mean? You're not, you know, maybe you're not perfect. Maybe being fat is ugly. You know what I mean? Or maybe being too dark is ugly. You know what I'm saying? So that's
affirmation.
Exactly. So I so understood when that person talked about that because that's all part of emotional trauma.
Yeah.
And that deals with overthinking. And overthinking deals with emotions.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then unable to relax. That's another one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Of the fact that you overthinking. You're not. Even though you may think that you're laying or in the bed and you might be trying to go to sleep in your mind and you wake up exhausted. Girl. Like you didn't just work 8 hours and you just slept. It's because your mind.
Exactly.
It's constantly thinking about something, constantly on it, and it's not resting. So you're not rested.
And that was another one that has said the same thing. There was somebody on that same thread that said the same thing, that they're one person, they're like almost like Queen Bee when it came to overthinking. And they was talking about how they went to a funeral and how they realized that in that funeral and noticing that they need to learn to appreciate life, the here and now. And they said because they were so much overthinkers on every little thing, they found themselves constantly thinking, you know, where it found themselves down spiraling. So now they had to realize that, you know what, I'm going to learn to enjoy life. I'm going to learn to enjoy the here and now. And one of the things that she said was at the end, she said, from this day, I keep telling myself, I'm going to enjoy the here and now. What is going on now?
Wow.
Let me be able to deal with the here and now and how I can make the here and now better. You know what I mean?
Recentering.
Exactly.
Recenter yourself. You know what I mean? And pull in from that overthinking.
Exactly.
You be able to pull it in sometimes.
Exactly.
But you have to recognize that you're overthinking.
Exactly.
And the fact is, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
A lot of people don't look at it like that.
Exactly.
They're just thinking they're over analytical or they're just analyzers, you know, but it's really overthinking. Yeah. So.
You know what I found too is one of the biggest ways that we find ourselves overthinking? Relationships.
Oh, absolutely.
Relationships.
We can overthink it and still don't take the advice we even thought about. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We can. We
that
can
part.
throw it all the way out and we know it ain't no good
yourself. Oh my gosh, just relationships
Oh my
with children,
God.
relationships between you and another opposite sex. You know what I mean? Relationship with the same
our
sex, I guess.
friendship.
And French, exactly.
Some of our friends that we know that
Exactly.
is draining us dry, and we will not let them go.
Exactly.
And we done thought about ways to let them go.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we find ourselves, especially just like you said, even relationships with your friendships. You know what I mean? That friendship. You find yourself all the time overthinking of the way how they treated you. You know what I mean? I don't want to be treated like that again. And you're constantly thinking about it so much that you end up getting sick.
Yeah.
You end up so sick about it. You get tensed in the neck.
Yeah.
You have neck problems, headaches all the time, and you're wondering why.
You done told them off in your mind.
Exactly.
Like you said, I'm going to tell them XYZ. They get on my nerve. They call. Yeah, I'll be there.
Exactly.
Like you done played it out in your mind, like how you know this is not good.
Exactly.
And then to stress you out, and they just takers, and don't give anything.
Exactly.
And you still find a way to continue to hold on. And God will give you a way out. But a lot of times we don't take that either. So.
Exactly.
And then
those
what
symptoms. You know those symptoms of feeling anxious, worried all the time, second guessing decisions. How many times we second guess decisions?
Yeah.
That we have made.
Yeah.
You know, how many of y'all second guess the decision that you made? Second guess the decision that you decided that you was going to do. Like this is the one moment you're going to tell that guy that I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if he come over. I don't care if he pop up at the door. I don't care if he send me these little love notes and little love messages. No. I'm going to stick to my decision.
That's right.
You know? Fixating on things that are out of your control. There are so many things that are out of our control. That we try our best to control.
Yeah, and that is too. And even when it comes to loss.
Exactly.
When you woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Oh,
if
God.
I would have just did this, or if I should have did that, or spent more time, if any of y'all can relate, like comment in the in the messages.
Exactly.
If you had, or any of these symptoms.
Or feeling mentally exhausted. Ooh. Have you ever felt mentally exhausted?
Yes.
If you have, write it in the comments. Let us know. Give us a situation that you may have felt mentally exhausted. You know what? Don't ever feel like that you are alone. Don't ever feel like that you're the only one that's been through this.
Yeah.
We have all been through this.
Absolutely.
Share your moment. Okay? I've been mentally exhausted so many times.
Yes.
Okay? Mentally exhausted, child.
Yeah.
Mentally, but thinking about things that I know I don't have no more control over. That I know I don't even have control over the individual. I know I don't have control over the situation.
At all. And the kind of, like you said, the kind of mental exhaustion that you can't even sleep on.
Exactly.
Like you can sleep and wake up and you still like that. And and people try to self-medicate themselves because they are feeling mentally exhausted and they're thinking it's something else. But it's really the fact that you need to recenter.
Exactly.
You need to focus and just recognize what it is.
Exactly.
And just recenter yourself.
I like how you said some people medically dose themselves because they can't sleep.
Yeah.
Because of their mind. And instead of recognizing and finding ways to control that, they medicate themselves. Exactly. They self-medicate. Thank you.
Yeah.
They self-medicate. I was one of those people.
Me too.
Who used Tylenol PM, okay? Like it was candy.
Yeah.
Like it was a payday. Paying after a while, okay?
Yeah.
It was, because before I went to sleep, I always took something.
Yes.
And if not, I would be like, you know what? I don't want to get addicted to it, so let me go get sleep aid. The non-addictive sleep aid, the 25 milligrams, okay? At the dollar store for $1.25, okay? That helped me went to sleep until, you know what? It got so much to the point that I overthink so much that didn't even work, y'all.
And it doesn't. And I was like on Ambience, just like you were saying, to try to do it. And then along with Ambience came hallucination.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
that
good.
came with it.
That's
so
good.
now you have to deal with that on top of being mentally exhausted. How about that?
Exactly.
So now you're dealing with two things. So, and you have to worry about the addiction part.
Exactly.
You know, because I dealt with
exactly.
addiction in my family, so I had to be very careful of certain things that I take because of the addiction part. So then that will lead to another problem. So we have to be careful of the things that we do and try to self-medicate ourselves with sleep aids instead, and really research and figure out what your issue could be.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why they have strategies.
Yeah.
They got strategies that we can
Yeah.
use concerning overthinking.
And coping skills.
And coping
things to help us
skills.
cope with those
Exactly.
things.
And you know what? For me, to me, they talk more about it today. You know, you see it all over the place. Even churches are up to date now, where they're talking about mental health, where they're talking about ways to cope, ways to be able to ground yourself. You know what I mean? Even on my job where I work at, and I was teaching a lot of, because I used to work in substance abuse counseling, and I used to counsel, and we used to do groups, and that's where I found out a lot about how to meditate, how to ground myself, how to use coping skills. You know what I mean? So there are some strategies to stop overthinking. Like, one of the things that we do is practice mindfulness.
Yes.
I love mindfulness, y'all.
Yes.
Oh my God. Mindfulness is so relaxing. And just to see yourself to get in tune with quietness is so awesome. When you can make your mind stop thinking, make your mind stop running. When I learned that it was true, when I learned how to do that,
And you can control it.
exactly,
Allow it to control you.
exactly, it was so amazing.
Yes.
Oh my God, I was sitting here on my mat and just laying there, and when she finally was like, "It's time to get up," I was like, "Oh,
I don't want to leave this place.
yeah, why I gotta wake up?" And it was like my whole body was so relaxed that I had to move everything to just feel everything again. But that was a beautiful place to be.
Yes.
So if you ever think about that you need, one of the strategies is mindfulness. Find a place. There's all kind of places that you can Google. You can Google mindfulness, and there's places that you can go to, and you can spend about 45 minutes doing mindfulness. And there's different types of mindfulness out there, but it's out there for you. Whatever works for you.
And even on YouTube. There's
Yes.
a lot on YouTube
Yes.
too.
A whole lot on YouTube. A whole lot.
And if you have any that you would like to share with us, please put it in the message
Exactly.
below.
That will help somebody else.
Yes.
Meditation. Meditation is good. It's different than mindfulness.
Yes, it is.
Meditation is really
But
good.
it's a part of it.
Exactly. Exactly. Another one was deep breathing. It's just like with anger. If you go to anger management class, they tell you as one of the things that for you to use is deep breathing.
Yes, Lord.
You know what I mean? Find yourself, if you have to stop and just deep breathe. And it does work.
It
Count.
does work.
Even
if you
counting.
If you use it.
Exactly.
If you use it before you hit them, it works.
Exactly.
Learn to breathe before your fists go back.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
count.
Yes.
Counting helps.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean? When you're
It
doing your
does.
deep breaths and it gets to that point that you know you ready to hit and deep breath is not helping. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Walk away. As you walking up and down, you know, just
Yeah.
pace. Pacing helps.
Ah.
You know what I'm saying? As you're counting. You know what I mean? Another thing that is good is another thing is reading. Reading. A lot of people talked about the football player at the Eagles game, right? Where he had took the time out to read, right? He was reading a book. And they made a big thing, yo. Eagles.
He wasn't really reading that book, y'all.
He was reading.
It was brand
even
new.
if it was a coping
Wasn't
mechanism,
reading it.
you did a good job. Okay?
It
Because
was a different distraction.
Exactly.
Yeah, something
because he
distract
could
you
have
off of that.
exactly. It could have been a moment of him overthinking.
Yeah.
Healthy distractions that can
Yes.
help you.
Absolutely.
Talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
The
Taking
biggest
a
thing.
walk.
Yes.
Like you said, pacing, just walking away.
Exactly.
Sometimes that just removing yourself from the situation or out of that area. Don't look at that bill. Whatever
Exactly.
it is to have you overthinking, just do something else. Try to find out another way of focusing on something else.
Exactly. Talk about your feelings to a trusted friend. a
Trusted
family
friend.
member, or even a therapist. Don't be afraid of therapy. Therapy is really good for you. And
Yes.
everybody, whether you're black, white, blue, or green,
Male
everybody,
or female.
male or female,
Yes.
everybody should be going, young or old. Don't be afraid of therapy. It's very good for you. Also, one of the things is focus on some things that you can change.
That you can change, not the things that we can't change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The things that you can change. Remember, you can't change another individual, but you can change you.
Ah, that's good.
You can change you.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you can change the situation.
Exactly. By your response.
By your response.
How
There
you
go.
handle it. How you
handle it.
respond.
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. Focus on things you can control and let go of the things that you can't.
That is.
That's very important, how to let go.
Yeah, because if you can't control it, then you're going to constantly continue to overthink and just fool yourself in thinking that you can control something that you cannot.
Exactly.
You can't control it when it's out of your hands, so you have to know the difference
Exactly.
of the things that you can control and what you can't control.
You know what? Just sitting here thinking about something that just came to me. A lot of times we hold on to stuff that is not good for us.
All the time.
And if you keep holding on to it, right? Let's say, use an example. Let's say a sandwich.
I was going to say food. Too.
Yeah, like a sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, if you hold on to that sandwich and keep holding on to it, right? It starts to get molded. Okay? The meat might start to stink, right? It has a little aroma to it.
Yeah.
Right? If you go to eat it and keep eating, it can bring toxicity to your body.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get rid of it. You didn't throw it away. But you keep holding on to it because it's something that you feel as though is good for you when it's not. When you should have just throw it away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you throw it away, take it and throw it completely away. Go throw it out. Take it and put it in the trash can so you can put it out on the side of the street for the trash man to come pick it up.
And you know what, to go with that too, even with overthinking, or hoarders.
Ah,
in the mind of
yes,
hoarders.
yes.
And how they thinking that they need everything, like everything, this is needed.
Yes.
And but you don't need that. You have it. It's old. You can't have it. No, but I need this. And there was an episode where we overthink to the point of not letting go things that we want, that it harms other people too. Because even without them holding on to that stuff, they lost. It was a wife that lost her husband. He was dead in the mix where all the stuff fell on him in the episode of Waters. They found him dead in the stuff. She thought that he left her. And he was dead. Under all that stuff, when they was cleaning it out, they found him.
Wow.
So, and because the house already had a smell, she didn't even know the difference. So when saying that to say this, not just to focus on the death, but you see you are holding on to stuff that's not good for you.
Exactly.
It can be detrimental not just for you, but it can be detrimental to someone else.
Exactly.
And if you're a mother with children or a spouse, you have to be careful of the things that you don't want to let go, because that toxic relationship can be, you see it all the time, where the other person the man kills the girlfriend or vice versa or whatever, or kills them and the kids and all that stuff, because you don't want to let go of something that you know that is not good for you or anyone that is attached to you.
That's good.
So we have to be mindful that it's not just about us all the time when we overthink certain things, because it can be detrimental to someone else as well.
That's good. That's good. One of the other things, looking at the bigger picture. Looking at the bigger picture. Trying to gain perspective may help you reduce overthinking, not non-urgent matters. How will all the problems floating around in your mind affect you 5 or 10 years from now? True. Will anyone really care that you bought a fruit platter for the potluck instead of baking a pie from scratch? That's good. That is so good. Prioritizing the more serious challenges and letting go of everyday hurdles may help you feel less overwhelmed. Yeah. Wow. Looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of us have to do. We have to learn to look at the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Stop worrying about those little things.
The little things, the little ingredients,
Yes.
the little things that you missed, that you forgot to put the, vanilla extract in.
Exactly.
Or whatever, the little things. And
Oh, it's not going to taste right. It might taste great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you worrying about that little bit of vanilla extract that you didn't put in there. They probably don't even care about it. But that's one of the things that we do. But if we learn to look at the bigger picture.
And it also said about us doing something nice for someone else is another way of being able to not to overthink certain things, because it takes your mind off of your stuff.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
it helps to put it on somebody else.
That's good.
So
I like the ants, the A-N-T, ants, where it says recognize automatic negative thoughts. Recognize those automatic negative thoughts. Ants, automatic negative thoughts. It says refer to that knee-jerk negative thoughts, usually involving fear or anger. So tackling this is that you can identify and work through your ants by keeping a record of your thoughts and actively working to change them. So one of the things which is good is that use a notebook.
Yeah.
To track your situation causing you distress, or record the first thought that comes to mind. That is so
y'all
good.
relate to that? Come on. Yeah, when it comes to anger, sometimes it starts with a thought.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And even it might not be something that they might not have did that moment. It could be something that you just see that person and automatically triggers a negative thought about something they may have did to you a while ago.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So being able to trigger that, because you'll be amazed on how that thought of that person that you might have seen, they might have been on that side of the grocery store, and you see them, and now it automatically triggered that trauma.
Yep. Exactly.
That was associated with that person.
Exactly.
And now you stuck with that for the rest of the day.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you have to be in a place where you could recenter. And be able to bring yourself back, because it can mess up your whole day. And a journal is good, because if you're a journaler like I am too, write it down. Get the thought down out of your head on paper, close it, and be done with it.
Exactly. Exactly. And in the midst of it too, which is good, is acknowledging your successes.
Yeah.
Acknowledging your successes. Sometimes we don't encourage ourselves. You know what I mean? We don't acknowledge when we have changed some things. You know what I mean? We can acknowledge everybody else's, but when it comes to us, we'll find something wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I could have did this better, or I could have did that better. Instead of just saying, you know what? I did it.
We ponder on the negative.
Exactly. Exactly. But we should be able to acknowledge our successes. You know, when you're in the midst of overthinking, try jotting down 5 things that you have experienced in the past week, and you're rolling them. These don't need to be huge accomplishments. Maybe you stuck to your coffee budget this week, or cleaned out your car.
Yeah,
when you look at it on paper or on screen, you might be surprised at how these things added up. You know what I mean? So when you find yourself, downing yourself, pick up a paper and automatically say, what did I do this week that I can say that I accomplished? What did I do?
Yeah.
It could be, you might have sat down and talked to your children.
Yes.
That's a positive thing.
Yeah.
That you had, that you did something with them, that you accomplished, they was happy, you were happy.
Yes.
But it took your mind off of whatever it was.
And you accomplished the goal.
Exactly.
So maybe if you, on YouTube, if you want to jot down 5 things, just 5 little things, just share with us some things that you have done and you experienced this week.
Exactly. That is success that you feel as though that you were successful in.
And you'd be amazed how much that might inspire somebody else, inspire us even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And look, stay present. You talked about that. The now, being in the now.
Yes.
Being, staying present in the now is very helpful. Because it keeps you grounded.
Always practice self-compassion. Always practice self-compassion. Be okay with being okay. Be
Yeah.
okay with being. You don't hear that much.
No.
It's okay to be okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Okay,
Okay, that part.
too.
It's okay with not being okay. Tell yourself that. It's okay if you're feeling sad today, but don't stay in it.
That part. Mm-hmm.
Don't stay in it. It's okay to say to yourself, you know what? I don't feel good. I don't feel good. It's all right that you don't feel good.
Yeah.
Be okay with that.
Or you don't feel like it.
Or you don't,
Or if
exactly.
you don't feel like doing something someone
Exactly.
asks you to do, it's okay to say no.
Is that part. Say that again.
It's okay to say no.
No.
Put no in the comments.
No.
I don't feel like it.
A sanctified no. Big N-O.
No, I don't feel
Exactly.
like it. It's
Practice
okay.
it. Exactly. Practice it. Because a lot of times that's a big part of our overthinking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wonder what they're going to think about me if I don't show up. I wonder if they're going to think about
good
me
point.
if I don't call them. I wonder what they're thinking about me if I don't pop up at the game or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? No, it's okay. I'm tired. I had to learn that. Now that was one of my biggest problems. That was one of my biggest problems is that I thought that I had to be everything, and especially when it came to my
Yes.
kids.
I was going to say.
Yes.
When it comes to the
Yes.
kids, anywhere else, I think I can be okay. But when it comes to the kids and them games, especially if you're
Exactly.
a sports mom, you miss a game, that thing tore my heart out. Like that kid didn't even miss me.
Exactly.
Didn't know I wasn't even there, but it tore me up that I missed
Exactly.
the game. I didn't make it.
Exactly.
You know, because I had two boys playing at two different games at two different times, and I missed one, and it was like, ooh, you know what I mean? So yeah.
And that's
he-
something
he
that
was
wasn't
like-
in your control.
No.
You could not control that.
I could not control
You
it.
can't split yourself
He
in
was like,
half.
Mom, I didn't even know you wasn't there. You know, so you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, so yeah, it is when you can't control it. Yeah,
Exactly.
that part of saying no, and sometimes if you don't feel like going, and there's a lot of times when you know, as for my rain, sleet, hail, sometimes you don't feel like being out there.
Exactly.
You done worked all day, you done worked all week. Now you got to get home, get them ready, go to a game. Now you're out here freezing, rain, and you trying to cheer more with your fingertips all frozen. And you
remember those
really
days.
don't want to be there. But we push.
Exactly. Ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. There's a lot of people that are overthinkers that they don't like asking for help. That's the reason why they go through so much mental turmoil. Because they don't want to ask for help. They don't want to ask for help to deal with the situation that they're dealing with. They don't want to ask for help to see if they're even doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Or if it's okay to feel the way that they are feeling.
Right.
Whatever the circumstance or whatever the situation may be. I'm here to tell you today, ask for help.
Yeah.
It might be help from your mother. It might be help from your father. It might be help from a friend. It might be help from a stranger.
Yes.
It's okay to ask for help.
Yes, and it's okay.
Exactly.
And the support is available to you, and you're not alone.
Nope.
Don't ever think that you're alone in it, because you're not. And where a lot of you seen it, the 52%. So you know, you're not alone.
Exactly.
So please reach out to someone.
Exactly. And when you ask for help, it helps to, it more or less helps change your mindset. Because they
Yeah.
might have something for you. They might can say the right thing to help you to figure out whatever it is, or even to help you get whatever it is, or even to help you, period. Whatever it is. It might be the lift a weight machine. You know what I mean?
Right.
You sitting there struggling, and then at the same time, I know they see me struggling with this weight machine, you know what I mean? But you didn't ask for help.
That would be me. Yes, Lord, that's me. But you have to also be open.
Exactly.
You got to be open to, when you ask for help, you
That's
got to
so
be open
good.
to receive the advice. Now, don't ask for
Exactly.
help if you're just going to shut it down every time someone say something and give you advice, and you shut it down at every corner, then nobody's going to want to give you any advice, and nobody's going to want to support you. So you have to be open to something new and something different to change that shift,
Exactly.
the way that you're thinking. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's important. That's part of changing your mindset too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we have said a whole lot of stuff today. We talked about the strategies. We talked about the coping skills. We talked about causes and effects from it. We talked about, the difference with the men and the women. the percentages of men and women that overthink. We even talked about different people that have said different things of how they overthink. So the takeaway for me today is overthinking things may often cause distress.
Yeah.
You can reduce overthinking and reminiscing by breathing deeply.
Rumination.
Say it again.
Rumination.
Thank you, rumination. By breathing deeply, doing grounding exercises, practicing meditation, jotting down thoughts and breaking them into actionable steps, and focusing on your successes.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel presently overwhelmed by your thoughts and can't stop overthinking, consider talking with a mental health professional who can help you develop coping skills. Wow, this talk right here today
Yes.
was good.
Yeah.
It was very refreshing, I can say.
Yeah.
So for me today, I think I'm gonna do a breath mint because it was very refreshing for me today.
That was good.
How was it with you
good.
today?
Well, for me, like Kit Kat.
Ooh.
Yes, and you can't own just one. So there's two in here in this pack. You can break open because it was very inspiring and uplifting for me, and it showed me a lot about myself. So I'll double that.
Okay, all right now.
Yes.
Okay, y'all. So until the next time, remember, go out, let somebody know about Candy Talk. Please share, put a thumbs up in there, comment, let us know what you think about this so that we can continue on. Put some topics down below that we might talk about as time go on. But we look forward to the next time on Candy Talk.
We would go. I guess I was too young to really understand a sweet talking slick candy man.
Yeah, that what this is.
Oh God,
Ooh.
Oh,
that's more sour than the last candy we had.
Yeah.
The last candy we had
Sour patch. You said get sour
What?
patch. That's what I got.
Yeah, it's sour.
That messed you up. Don't rehearse it. You just gotta go with the flow.
Okay,
Boom.
see, give me a second. Okay, welcome to Candy Talk.
no welcome.
I thought you.
Okay, so let's start with